This is Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I have a journal that has just gone into my shop on my website, and I wanted to share it with you. This journal is called The Graduate, and I know that graduation time is still March, April, so maybe about 2.5 months away, but I think this would be a beautiful gift for a male or female graduate. Anyway, I love the way this journal turned out. I don't know if you can tell, but this is the shape of a hot air balloon. This journal feels a little bit masculine, but I know there are so many graduate books and cards and gifts that don't feel masculine enough. And it's a request sometimes for something that does feel a little bit masculine. However, this has got enough pretty stuff in it that it could be for anyone. So it's tied with some velvet ribbon, and when you open this up, there are a lot of elements here that are focused around learning and school. This is a really pretty image that came in a greeting card that I received a couple of years ago. So I sewed that into the front, and here's part of a postcard that she looks very studious. That's one of Leonardo da Vinci's paintings, and she looks very, very sober and thoughtful. You can see there's a little bit of lace in here, but for the most part it's vintage looking, distressed colors. I love this little Tim Holtz die cut with the dog. It looks like a schoolboy. And as we go through, you'll see that even the paper in here is reflective of a school type theme. So this is from a music course, Sherwood Music School Courses. I love that it says lesson 38. As we go through, you can see there's notebook paper. I have a lot of these tags that I'm working on. This is cut from heavy cardstock, and I've just stamped my little bird on each side and distressed it a little bit and put it in this tiny little pocket. This is a leaf from a vintage packet of wallpaper die cuts that you can put on a wall, and I think the company's still in business, but I believe this one was older. It's got roses in it as well, which are going to be listed later today in a wallpaper sample pack. This is from a bunch of stickers that go on fax sheets. They're fun to use. I put a little bit of glue under mine to make sure that it stays. Sometimes old stickers don't really have adhesive on them like they did when they were new. In this journal and in the packs that I'm working on, or the journal kits, this music is so adorable. I used mine to make a little pocket or envelope. The name of the song is My Ideal. And this music was really carefully protected. Every hole has a reinforcer on it. So I just made a little pocket and put a vintage playing card in there of the Pansies or Johnny Jump Ups, violas, whatever you want to call these. And of course these come out in the springtime, right before graduation. A lot of the tabs, well, really all of the tabs that you see throughout this book came from a vintage grammar book. And the journal kits that I've put together have pages from this grammar book. Things like that are so much fun to use, just the little amounts of text. When 2 months old, my parents moved to Lexington. So it's showing sentences. When I was 2 months old, my parents moved to Lexington. So it shows examples of bad, improved, and good. So what does the good one say? When 2 months old, I was taken by my parents to Lexington. Oh, I do see the difference. This is a little bit ambiguous. If you said when I was 2 months old, my parents moved to Lexington, that doesn't necessarily mean that they took you with them. So these are fun little tabs throughout. There is some distressing. The page numbers have been stamped. There's a page here from a book with clock parts. I thought that looked sort of steampunk and, late 1800s, early 1900s. That was, again, part of the theme with this, just to focus on learning and knowledge and improving oneself. So, again, more of that music paper and more tabs. More distressing. This little page came from a map about space. This is the moon surface. There are a couple of little tickets here in this lace pocket. More distressing. I love the way that looks. And then this is from an old book, this sepia or really aged looking paper. Hapless Horatio, the Gilded Hack, or Out of the Water Dripping Wet. Look at all the fellows here. The Ragged Dick series by Horatio Alger Jr. And then, I can't really read this whole thing. Maybe we can see what that says when we get to the other part of this page. And I don't remember. Again, it's another series of stories. This is from a napkin. I love these napkins. They have a very steampunk feel with the balloons, and every one of the journal kits is going to have one of these napkins as well. So just moving on through this journal, more distressing. There are some pretty stamps in here. They had never been used. I love the birds. I love the color. So I put a couple of those in here and then stamped it with one of my favorite stamps. I love to put little postmark ink stamps on top of postage stamps. So every kit will have some of the postage stamps. More distressing. And then we get here, and here is some map paper that I used to make another little pocket. And in there is a print of a new suit. This is from the early 1900s. This was a lady's suit. It says, "Let us give you a new suit." So working on through here, look at that gorgeous wallpaper. Oh, I love this wallpaper. I would love to have a lot of that, but I only had one sheet. Love that gold. And that's some paper that I tea stained and then hand dyed while it was still wet. I love this center image, the old car, the Oldsmobile, and thinking about a young graduate wanting to get a car and have independence. And as the charms on the embroidery thread that I used to bind the pages in are two of these beautiful glass beads that were recently given to me by a friend. Look at the colors in that one. If you can see kind of the center brown color there. And it looked like the headlights to me. So I love how that turned out. And the back of that page is really pretty. Here is a tag. I distressed it a little bit on the front. It says special sale, and thinking about going out and buying your graduation clothes. That made me think about that episode on the Waltons years ago when John Boy needed a suit and he bought an expensive one and then took it back and his mom made him a suit. Olivia, Liv as they called her. Michaela and I used to sit and watch all of those episodes and eat popcorn at night. Those were the days, let me tell you. Here's a little textile sample card. I love this. These are fun little spots to write in. So underneath here, you could put a little secret message. And I love that the colors tie in. So moving on through, just a lot of very neutral paper, school type paper. There's a vintage rook card, and this game was released. Is it Parker Brothers? I think that's the company. They released this, whichever company did, in the early 1900s. And I thought that was pretty in this journal as well. More of the piano music and more distressing. Here is an envelope with a little card that was cut out from a type of poster that came from, it's some Durham ephemera, and it's the old baseball players, and this is from the Museum of Durham History. This is a really neat series of cards. Let me show you this sheet. Durham and the Rise of the Baseball card. So we've got all these different players, and it talks about different players who were brought in, and it talks about different races coming into the game or being allowed to play, which they should have always been allowed to play. But it does, like this card for instance, in 1909, Cabañas Tobacco Company became the first company to feature black men on baseball cards in honor of the Detroit Tigers' 1909 visit to Cuba. Cabañas produced a card set between 1909 to 1910 that featured Afro-Latino and African-American players. At the time, African Americans were barred from professional baseball teams in the United States due to Jim Crow segregation laws, which is really sad. So that's that card. Crockett, Goldsboro. Anyway, the coloration in these cards is just absolutely beautiful. There will be a couple of those cards in each one of the kits. I love that this says Scott Forsman and Company. We know that's a big textbook company. That's who made the grammar book. Okay, that was the Luck and Pluck series. Here it is, Luck and Pluck books. I love that paper. And every pack is going to have some black and white paper or sepia paper from my collection of pages that I sell in my Etsy shop. More pretty paper, distressing and stamping. Places to write messages to a graduate or just to give to a graduate for them to record things. Maybe memories about the last year of being in school or whatever. They could paste things in here. There is a little piece of note paper, just a note. And here is a fun little pocket. This is one of the map pages, and I folded it up and just taped it down with washi tape. It's got a vintage penny holder, penny roll, coin roll. And then in here, I just folded up a little piece of one of the music pages. My Isle of, and then you can just fill in the blank. That's a cute little pocket though. More of that fax paper or label, and more of the napkin there. And then we're at the back. There's more of the Sherwood music. Here is a really neat card, 1906 white Model F steam limousine. Isn't that pretty? So we can imagine a graduate being picked up in a limousine and taken to somewhere special for graduation. And then on the back is my stamp. So this journal is in the shop. There's only one of these. I will be back immediately following this video to show you the packs that I have for sale today. They're really, really pretty and a lot of fun. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.